Okay.
Okay, what's up, Paralive heads? Welcome to Paradox Live Fan Podcast. So during this session, we will be talking about drum roll. Paradox Live. So during this session, you can speak in voice channel or use the designated text channel for chatting. So also to save up some time, I'd like to get from those who are willing to speak first, so that those who wish to chat instead, you have enough time to write your answers, then organize your thoughts or something. So don't worry, we will try to read all of them later on. So today's topic is, how did you discover Paradox Live, and what was your first impression of the project? So to give all of you heads enough time to think and organize your thoughts for a while, I would like to give a quick introduction about the project. So I wrote a script. Okay, wait. Let me pull it up. Okay. Paradox Live is a mixed media project collaborated by Avex Pictures and G-Crest that centers around 14 rappers who were invited to take part in a mysterious Paradox Live battle, where they are going to fight each other by teams using hip-hop. The Paradox Live battle is being held in Club Paradox, the home club of the legendary hip-hop unit called Buraigan, which both suddenly reappeared after their disappearance 10 years ago. So the story is set in the near future, where Phantom Life performance is a trending movement, where there are 4 teams, as most of you already know. All of you already know. There's Bay, the Cat's Whiskers, Cozmez, and Akan Yatsura. And they go against each other in round-robin style. So they use phantom metals, which are special metals embedded into each of their accessories that produce illusions by chemically reacting with their DNA. So these illusions are connected to their emotions and are being used to make the grand stage for their live performances, hence the name Paradox Live, Phantom Live, not Paradox Live. However, using these phantom metals has a side effect, which makes the user recall their trauma. Sad. And from there, the story goes forward with each character fighting using their hip-hop while carrying their trauma and the other unknown effects of the phantom metals as they discover the truth behind the Paradox Live battle. Very dark, very mysterious.
Very. Pain.
So going back,
Pain.
yeah, pain, suffering. So going back to today's topic, first let me hear, how did you discover Paradox Live, and what is your first impression of it? So I'd like to tell my story first, so you can have more time to think on how you're gonna answer the question. So in my case, I think the first key person that led me to Paradox Live was Aki Akane. So to those who are not aware of who Aki Akane is, she is the person behind the character designs of Bei. So I first discovered her through back in 2018, where she was the one who did the illustrations for the music video of the song called Okay, let me get a YouTube link.
Ooh.
You guys can check it later. No. So fast forward to 2019. That's gonna be next year. To it. 2018. I'm not sure which month to be exact, because at that time I was just a casual fan. I was just in for the music and stuff. No, actually not. In 2019, it was not yet released. So it was during character visuals release. Yeah. I saw the character illustrations of Bei pass through my SNS timeline, and I instantly recognized Aki Akane's art because I really admire how she uses the color cyan over her warm colors, which are mostly magenta and red, and it's very cool. As you notice in Bei's illustrations, they have these small touches of cyan all over the place. Yeah, I kind of like it, and that's how I recognized the art. But at the time, I didn't know that it was called Paradox Live. So even when I went to her website to check her works, there's a list of works in her website, but at the time, it was not yet even updated then. So I don't know. I couldn't find it, and I was too lazy to even image search. So I thought maybe it's just one of her illustrations that she just uploaded on her SNS or somewhere else. But then comes 2020, the first half. I wasn't sure which month because I think this was a time that I started listening to their songs because my friend Anne, who's also in the server, my friend Anne keeps on talking about Paradox Live to me. And then she baited me by telling me that 96 Neko or Koroneko is voicing her favorite character. So I was intrigued, and then she gave me the link to Bang, the YouTube link to Bang, and I also listened to the other songs, and that's how I came to like my very first mixed media project. And then at that time, I realized that the Aki Akane art that I saw before was from Paradox Live. So I ended up wanting to know more about them, and then checked their official website. And then at the time, me and my friend Anne, we both found out that her favorite character is Anne Faulkner of Bay, is actually male. And I was surprised that Anne, my friend Anne, was also surprised. Okay, this is confusing because they're both Anne. And my friend was also surprised to know that Anne Faulkner is Bay. Yeah, we were both trapped, and I know we are not the only ones. So I'm now here in this inescapable fandom. Yeah. So my first impression back then, was that it was really cool to hear different kinds of hip-hop in one project. So each unit has their own distinctive style that represents their team, and it makes them unique from each other. It was also when I learned that there are subgenres under hip-hop. I didn't know about that, to be honest, and it opened up a new world to me. So plus there are 4 units where you'll get 4 different genres of hip-hop music, which is really refreshing for me. So that's how I discovered Paradox Live and my first impression of the project. Now it's your turn, guys. So as I mentioned before, I'd like to start with those who are willing to speak in the VC to save time for a while the others type in their answers in chat. So how did you guys discover Paradox Live, and what was your first impression of the project? Maybe we can start with Glass.
Hello. I also was one of the people who discovered Paradox Live when it was just released, because the demos for the voice of the characters came in my suggestions. So I decided to watch all of the voice demos, and in that I heard the background track, which were such catchy songs, and I was immediately hooked in seeing that the Akan Yatsura character design was done by Harada, who is like one of my favorite artists. I had not known it when I just clicked on the video, but by listening to the voices and by seeing Harada's art, I was immediately convinced of being interested in Paradox Live, and I subbed their channel right away. Just by hearing the background tracks, I knew that I would be a fan of Akan Yatsura the most, but I ended up enjoying all of the bands when their demo songs came out, and then even more so when the later songs came out with each and every stage battles and lives. And then the voice drama and the stories, everything just became something that was very much interesting to learn about and to find out more about. And it's good to have the server as well as a place where I could learn more from the translations and to know more about what's actually happening in the lore. And my impression, I guess, was I initially thought it would be a rap type of project, because it was kind of seemed like that just by judging from the way that the characters were demoed, and by hearing their voice demos, especially with Hanae Natsuki's character, who is Ryu from Cat's Whiskers, and by hearing Gaia's demo, who is in Akan Yatsura. And then while I actually listened to the songs, I was like, this is not 100% as a rap demo. So, but it still has some amount of rap in it. And the music itself was kind of a blend between rap and hip-hop, and that's when I kind of started to learn more about the different types of hip-hop and the different vibes by each band. Like BA gave me the vibes of something which is youthful and fresh and something which is like college students, and then I found out they actually are college students, which just gave me such a joy in seeing how well the music and the characters connected. And the same with discovering the Cat's Whiskers, because they had a bar kind of sound that you could hear any of their songs being played at a bar, it wouldn't be strange, is what I felt.
Mm-hmm.
Same with cozmez being the sort of slightly edgy sound, slightly more wild rap style and music style, and that fit very well with them. And of course, Akan Yatsura with the more traditional Japanese background musics and the kind of their Yakuza character designs fit very well, in my opinion.
I see. Thank you very much. That also it's amazing that how this project came up with this kind of plan where there are 4 units and 4 of them have their own style of music, and they reflect it in their songs and personality and story, which is actually very nice.
It's so dynamic and it's so well thought out and well composed by Avex Record.
Yes, I agree. Thank you very much, Glass. Next.
Yay, thank you for hosting this podcast.
No, you're welcome, and thank you for joining. How about you, Lu? Do you have something
my
to...
turn, huh?
Yes.
Of course.
Thank
Of
you.
Alright. So, in my earlier time here in the server, I'm sure you all saw that my nickname was the number 1 Yano stan.
Yeah.
I was very much into Yano Shogo, and he's kind of hard to find, like, content-wise on the internet, and I discovered Paradox Live entirely by chance because I was getting fed up with not finding him on YouTube. So I entered his kanji into the search bar, and as I was scrolling down, and I mean I can't read for anything. But I was scrolling down, I saw a picture for Akan Yatsura, and it was Bad Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And so I clicked on it, and I was just watching the characters. I'm like, oh wow, they're pretty. Wait, which one's Yano? And then it finally came to Deo, and I was like, wait, hold on. And I kept putting his part back. The I was like, wait, like, you know, I kind of, is that him? Is that him? Because I've been a fan of
Yeah.
So I read that he had been doing like some other projects, like mobile projects, etc. So I was just looking around trying to find videos. So I was like, okay, you know, he sounds pretty good. So I kept looking for more of him. And then looking through the songs, I came across their Bang. And I was looking down at the description and I saw Kuroneko's name. And I was like, what? Huh? Are you Taite here? And then I just went down that rabbit hole. And then I stumbled upon, I think it was one of their radios, and then there was a link to the Discord. And when I came here, I saw a treasure trove of translations and links and other resources, and then I rapidly fell in love with the project as a whole. I still had my Yano bias, of course, but I literally was like, this is great. What is it? A mixed media project like this? I mean, because I didn't even know about I didn't know like there were hip-hop mixed media projects like this. So I was absolutely obsessed. I was in heaven. I mean, I'm a Seiyu head more than I am a hip-hop head, but I literally gradually became both, and I fell so in love with this community too, and how passionate everyone was about the project, and I just fueled my own passion. So like, I guess you could also branch that in with my first impression, because it was overwhelmingly positive. Just the music and the art design, the voice work, the concept was such a cool concept. I mean, it literally everything about this project drew me in. All of the things I liked in one place, in one little project. But I was mourning the fact that there was so much content that I couldn't understand still because there wasn't enough of it. So, you know, and with every little bit of information they gave us, I became so enamored with this project, and here I am today.
It's nice to know.
Oh yeah, another person who likes seiyus a lot.
Yeah,
I
think it's really cool how many popular seiyus are in the Paradox Live project, from Takeuchi, Ryota, and Hayashi, Akan and Hanae, Natsuki, and
they really
Murase, Ayumu. So
Ayumu.
they have such a big cast.
Not
For
only
sure,
that,
and
they. Sorry, go on, Lou.
No, you're good.
Not only that, they have the big casts of seiyu or voice actors into their project, but they also have popular utaite. So like they are not looking at the history of works of a certain actor, but they are looking for the voice and the character that fits the character that they want them to act for, which is actually very nice and very detailed in my opinion.
And they do fit very well into the roles of the character which they're trying to play. When they're rapping, they rap in character, which is really, really amazing, I think.
I see. Oh, Toffee, are you going to go? Or would you like to say about your view first? We can go with you first.
Sure.
Okay, sure. Go
I
ahead.
This chat before, so I apologize if I sound a little bit nervous.
That's
But,
okay.
basically, how I found out about this was that I was doing research because I joined the fandom pretty recently. Before that, like, I think it was this year around October or November. And then I was searching it up online, and then it led me to a Reddit thread, I think. And then they were talking about, like, Paradox Live, and then they mentioned that, like, they gave, like, a brief introduction of, like, the 4 groups, and I thought it was pretty interesting, so then I searched it up on YouTube, and then I clicked on the video for Emblem by Bay, so I listened to it for, like, a couple seconds, and then my first impression was, oh, this is pretty cool, I guess, but I didn't really feel like I didn't really join the fandom immediately because it didn't really stand out to me that much, so I forgot about it for a while. And I think I mentioned it to my friends a couple of times, and then I went back to search it up again on YouTube, I believe. And I remember thinking that, like, the cat's whiskers was, like, a little, like, I thought it was interesting because I've never heard of a group that did hip-hop and jazz together, so I searched them up, I believe. So then I clicked on their video for Faith, and I think it was, like, another fan upload of, like, the full version.
Yeah.
And I immediately started falling for real. like the moment I heard him speak, I was like, yeah, this is there's no going back now. So basically, he was the person who dragged me into this fandom, and then I, like, listened to more of their songs. I also listened to some of Bay's songs during that time, and then I listened to those 2 groups for, like, a while primarily, and then I found out about, and then I listened to Akan Yatsura's songs later on, and I also, like, now they're one of my favorite groups. And then I think I listened to Cozmez, like, last, but yeah, that's basically how I stumbled upon this. And I was trying to look for a Discord server because I couldn't find much fandom content anywhere else, and then I found this, like, big Paradox Live server full of, like, resources and fans, so then I joined, and now I'm here.
It's good that you found a server. Because I think I had the same, what do you call this? I was looking for a Discord server for Paradox Live because I'm more into Discord than any other else in my SNS. So I'm really quite happy that I found this place.
Yeah, I feel like I was thinking it should exist somewhere, but I found it on Tumblr somehow.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Toffee.
Thank you, Toffee.
And I hope you can still stick around. How about
Thanks for having me.
it's okay.
I'll try my best to.
Don't push it. It's okay. How about you, Ruru? How did you discover Paradox Live, and what was your first impression?
I discovered Paradox Live through a Twitter thread.
Twitter thread, yes.
It was retweeted by my mutual on Twitter, but I don't really take interest in them until I read Hajun profile said that he was a series.
Okay.
I do admit that Hajun was the first one who caught my interest.
Oh, I see.
Since then, I don't really. What is it? They don't really catch my attention until the release of The Bang.
I see.
I got into Thunder's the Akan Yatsura released their Bad Boys. That was the moment that boom boom.
Yeah.
We just bad boys.
Yeah.
The feeling was quite enormous for me because the Satsuki rap really opening my mind, blowing.
Yeah.
For the impression, I think the project is really cool. I know before Paradox Live, of course, but I don't think I can follow them because they are really far from me. So Paradox Live is still quite new, right? In the 20s March. That's why I followed Paralive until now.
Oh, that's very nice. I also think that Ruru is right about the first impressions for the first music that they were released. It's like Bang was put up in the front to get attention from all the people because they have this latest trendy kind of music, if you know what I mean. And then the next one was the Cat's Whiskers, I think, and they had this jazzy feel to it, introducing more styles of hip hop to the audience, which was a really good combination. And then comes Cozmez with another deep genre of hip hop, which is like introducing you that we are gonna do this in different styles, so you have to look at us or something. And then comes
you can't just hear one and know everything. You have to hear all of them
that's
to get
true.
the different styles.
Yes, and then comes Bad Boys from Akan Yatsura, where all the party feels and vibes are just in one song, that like telling you, oh, we're gonna party in this project, so you have to join us. Then we just all suffering.
Akan Yatsura.
Go on, Ruru.
Akan Yatsura's song is like a vibe for me. Boom. But the change of vibes in the for family is quite
impressive.
Nice, you know?
Yeah, very impressive. It was unexpected. It was good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ruru, for your answer. And
Thank
next
you.
would be
Thank
Sufi.
you.
Sufi, are you gonna tell us your story?
Yes, sorry, I was a bit distracted.
Sure, no problem.
How did I discover Paradox Live? I saw someone basically kind of freaking out about it, like around in mid 2020 or early 2020, and then I saw someone like talking about Paradox Live, and it looks so I don't think much about it, and then I mean I think it's because I've been watching clips Ayumu Murase because I got bored and I really like Ayumu Murase. And all of a sudden there was this I saw a video I recommended, which is basically emblem lyrics video, you know, those kind of coded lyrics video. So yeah, so I was like, you know what, Live. I'll just give it a listen because it keeps popping up. Oh, I recommend it, and I don't understand why. Because I don't think I've touched anything about Paradox Live, and I was like, you know what? Why not just? So I listened to it. I was like, oh shoot, that's a banger. That's a really good song. And then and if there's something I like, most likely I'll get really curious about it. And I did some further research, and I was like, oh, who voiced this and who voiced that? So I just started like looking up, and also that I saw Ayumu's name as 48, or as his real name,
Yeon Hajun.
Hajun?
Yes.
Yeon Hajun.
Correct.
So I was like, oh, everything's clicking now. It makes sense now. Blind DC news keep popping up. I recommend it because he's in this project. And also, because I'm also a fan of Neko Kuro.
Kuroneko, yes.
I almost say Kuroneko. I knew I'll get that wrong. Anyways, I've been a fan of hers for a while as well. So I was like, oh, she's in this too? Oh, like, to be like, okay, that makes sense because she is actually technically a seiyuu, because I know for a fact she has been voice acting here and there. She's just in nothing like in very mainstream stuff. Like, I don't think she's in like big animes, like, you know, the in-season anime as far as I know. But I know for a fact that she's been doing some seiyus for like games and like maybe actual anime, but like it's clear like it's not like the popular anime, because she's like, that's not her main focus in her career. So obviously, I was like kind of surprised that she took this role. Like, but then again, it kind of makes sense because it's music and she likes singing. This is the main thing that she likes to do. So it also makes sense. And I recognize some of the other voice actors and singers in this project, but not all of them. Like, I recognize both of cozmez voice actors, but I'm not a huge fan. But I know for a fact both of them have major roles in the anime industry.
Yes, that's
as well as the other member in May, which is, I'm blanking right now, and I forgot.
Suzaku. Yes.
Suzaku?
Yes.
Suzaku. So desu, yeah. And my first impression, yeah, it's just a really, I don't know why, but yeah, it's just really good. And I guess because it's more, I guess I got into it a little easier. Paradox Live just came out like last year, February, if I'm not mistaken. So there's not too many content that I have to catch up on to. And it's also because I recognize more of the singers and voice actors in this project than. So I guess my first impression is that this is actually really good, and I think it's also because I also read about the topics that they talk about, and the lore, the general lore of it is also really, really interesting, you know, because the music is kind of like, you know, kind of weaponized, but like in here, it's more like a competition of actual music. It's not like words actually heard. They're just literally like, each group is just telling about their stories, which is nice, and it's refreshing to me, you know, because I've also been into anime, and like sometimes I'm not into all anime fandoms because it's almost a little samey to me, but I get why. But at the same time, I wish there's something like talk about of like just being an entertainer, like being a performer instead of just being like impressive, you know, trying to please the mass. So it's just, yeah, I really, really like Bay. I just really like, I mean, I also just like Bay in general because I like the music that they kind of stand for and all that jazz. I like Paradox Live. It's just a little easier for me to like consume compared to like other hip hop franchises.
I see.
For now,
I understand.
Yeah.
Because
I also really like.
Yeah, sure. Go on.
Sorry.
Go on.
Yeah, go on.
No, it's
No, you
okay.
go.
It's your turn. You can.
I was gonna say, I also really like Kuro's character, because like I get that people are like, oh, I thought she was a girl, but actually she's a, you know, a boy. But and I don't really care about gender that much, so I didn't that. I just so like I just wasn't always feminine. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, well, also not gonna lie, I'm a huge sucker for street fashion, especially these days. Yeah, like the moment when I saw like especially BOYZ outfits, I was like, oh, that's so nice to look at. Oh, and I'm so sorry, you might have hurt my brother.
It's okay. No problem.
Yeah. So the fashion, I'm really, really into fashion as well. So when I saw their clothes, I was like, oh, this is really my jam. This is so good. I also like kind of just the characters overall.
Yeah, that's true.
All of them.
Because I think the character designs were also referred to their personalities according to the artists. And the artists are also into fashion, which is actually pretty cool.
That's what I can tell. Yeah, I think that's also another reason why I just can't get into like all music centric franchises, because like especially if they're like a performer, and I feel like the way they dress kinda is important, but sometimes they don't think about that. They just like, oh, here's something like in theme, or like here's something just fancy, without like thinking about like. And sometimes in like these kind of franchises, they don't think like the clothes. I mean, I'm not saying clothes should matter, like that should be like a high priority, but it's nice to see that. Also, it's nice to see that when they hire someone to design the clothes, it's someone does have interest in designing clothes. So it's not just artists that were asked to draw nice clothes. You know, it's series, I guess you could say. Newest series in the entire giant universe of like their cards in the game are actually designed by actual fashion designers. And not just that, it's also by ladies as well, which is rare in this kind of industry. Or at least it's rare for the women in this industry to be credited, to say. So it was really nice. So I also really like those. It's also kind of rare just to see like big franchises like even credit the artists in general. Like sometimes if you go to like example like, and they like in the earlier days when they like put out like promotion artwork and like, oh, this is like, it's Christmas soon, so like here's a Christmas art by our team, but they don't credit the actual artist, you know. And that's like, yeah, so it's nice to see another company and franchise just actually credit where credit is due, you know. So that's also why I really like Paradox Life. So, and also the one cool thing I found out about Paradox Life is that each character apparently has a Twitter, which
that is Twitters. Yeah, they started it.
Yeah. It's just so refreshing. It's just like, wow. Like I guess because I get why not everyone does that, because likely because there's too many characters to begin with. I mean, Lord, imagine every character having a Twitter, and that's like almost 200 characters.
I guess so.
So, but because Paradox Life only has like 3, 2, so that's 5. How many characters as a whole? I'm
14.
bad at maths. 5. Yeah, 14. Yes. Because there's only 14 characters, so I guess that's like a lot easier to maintain. And I think the reason why I couldn't get to Hip Mike and like other multimedia franchises is because their content are kind of slow, which I get why, because they're not funded by like a big company, you know, like compared to like other franchises like and all that jazz. They're just, I mean, they are funded by a company, but it's like, it's not as like, it's I don't know how to say this. It's my English, my god. It's just because they are funded technically because Paradox Life is by, I forgot the company.
Avex and G-Crest.
Who created
Avex and
yeah.
G-Crest.
Yeah, Avex and Decrest. Avex is a big company. Avex has done animes and other idol like franchises, but because it's not focused on a game or an anime, so obviously they're when they get a lot of money, they're not just gonna give it to Paradox Live, so they're gonna give it to something that's like, you know, give to someone that's most likely gonna pump out more content, which is gonna make the company more money. So I guess that's also kind of why I didn't get into Paradox Life instantly. And it's not because I'm not into hip hop, but I am kind of picky about hip hop. Because if you really want to talk about hip hop mostly is just about flexing, and I'm not, you know, flex. If you only flex, you know, it's not.
Yeah.
I guess that's also another reason why I like Paradox Live, because the music is not just. If you look at the lyrics, it's not just about them flexing, because they actually talk about their trauma. You know, I feel like sometimes, because I've also recently gotten myself into a new hip hop group. It's not a franchise. It's like an actual hip hop group. It's a Korean hip hop group. It's an old group. Yeah, it's an old group, and they don't. I mean, obviously, in some songs they do flex, but like, a lot of their songs are actually pretty dark, just like Paradox Live, and actually talks about their trauma. So it's really cool to see like hip hop is also associated with like different topics, and not just, you know, like saying like, oh, I'm rich and you're not, or like, oh, I have like a lot of lovers and you don't get any, you know, like you've got no game. I don't know how long the hip hop industry could even survive if it's just about that, which I obviously now it's not about that, but it's still a big thing in the hip hop. So it's nice to see like groups and musicians in hip hop that are not just talking about that, you know, they're taking the art of hip hop, like turning it into like something else, like actually telling stories, you know, because when hip hop started, it was more of an escape than telling stories. Now it's an escape, and it's also like telling stories, just like any other genre in this, you know, like ballads, like usually like ballads are like, you know, talking like the thing that they talk about, the things that they talk about in Paradox Live is you would think would be in ballad songs, because it's like sorrowful, it's about trauma, it's about past mistakes, it's about, you know, your struggles. But no, it's in hip hop, so it's really refreshing to me. And I also really like that Bae basically raps in 3 languages. And the majority, like, it's not even like mostly, like, people think, like, at first I thought it would be like, oh, mostly Japanese, and they'll just sprinkle in Korean and English. No, well, they do actually just sprinkle in a little bit of Korean. It's not a lot of Korean, but there's a lot of English in it, which took me by surprise. So I would also say, like, if you're learning Japanese, I guess listen to Bae music, because they don't use a lot of Japanese, and a lot of the Japanese is actually kind of understandable, and it's also they use puns. If you like anything Japanese, they will definitely use puns. Japan just loves puns as a whole. Like, if you get into anything, any franchise that is from Japan, they will use puns one way or another.
That is
that is inevitable. So it's
Oh, also,
Paradox Life is a good one.
You mentioned about female, what do you call this, cast? Female people that are involved into projects, huge projects like this. This is just a trivia, because Paradox Live is produced by Avex and G-Crest as a collaborated project. And the producers, the main producers from Avex Pictures, who is Maria Hamada, is a female, and also from G-Crest is Yuriko Akahoshi, who is also female. So they are both females. So Paradox Live is like a female
I heard of Yuriko
project, if you can
Oh my
say.
god!
So maybe that's why they are very keen to a lot of details in this project, because there are a lot of hands-on female people in this project.
No wonder it's high quality stuff. No shade, but
And also,
But yeah, no wonder it's
I think you also
yeah.
mentioned that there are some songs that are not into you, and I understand that because they are presenting like 4 types of hip hop, which is actually pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. They have so many styles. And like
Yeah.
before I got into Paradox Live, I didn't think hip hop had. I mean, I'm sure you can. I always you can always get creative with anything if you try. But I didn't think they managed to make 4 different styles of hip hop.
Yes.
Because when you think of hip hop, you don't think of many styles. You know, you just think about like rapping and like beats. Like
Yeah.
some of them even have like slow beats. Have you heard of slow beats hip hop? The only slow beats hip hop I know is lo-fi, and I don't even use.
Yes. I think I was the same before Paradox Live. Like the general image of hip hop for me is like you give them the beats and then they're
Yeah.
just gonna sing along with it or rap along
Rap.
with it.
Yeah,
Either way.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's actual singing in it too, so, which is nice. I mean, it's not new. Like in hip hop, there are people that do sing. I don't know if rapping is a type of singing, but I know it's a type of performing.
Mhm.
But yeah, I had a friend when I was like showing them, not Paradox Live, but like I was showing them, and like they didn't know if rap and hip hop were the same thing, and I told them rap is more like a singing style, and hip hop is just the genre of music. So, I mean, these days a lot of people do mix 2 genres together, you know,
Ah, that's true. Like recent pop
like Pokemon.
songs also include some rap here and there.
Yeah.
So thank you very
Yeah.
much, Sufi.
Oh my god, if I was, oh my god, though, but if I was
Mhm.
start speaking Russian, I can tell you, there's gonna be a lot of fans just gonna start studying Russian. Like, like that's the thing. If you want a lot of people to learn the language, make a franchise that's like fun, and then use that language in it. Guarantee a lot of people. Like, why do you think there's so many people now starting to learn, like, not even now, but like back in the day, like starting to like learning Japanese and Korean? It's because of anime and K-pop. That's why.
That's
So like, if you put, yeah, when I was in the it's like I remember like watching an anime that was Russian in it, and also the like half of the server that I was in like started learning Russian, and I was like, what's going on? What's going? I was yeah. But yeah, I hope Paradox Live gets more attention in general because it's really good. Because it's basically like breaking the mold of hip hop and it's making its own thing, which is really, really cool. And I want more people to like it.
Yes, that's very true. Thank you very much.
Yes, okay. Oh, of course.
Okay, next is Woomi. Woomi, are you gonna share something for us?
Oh. Okay, so my introduction to Paradox Live was like back in August, like early August. My friend just happened to post like a little clip of Bang,
Mhm.
and it was on Z's part. I was like, and I saw the clip. I was like, who is this? I need to know who they are, where they're from. I want to know all the details. They were like, it's on Z from Paradox Live. I was like, this. Oh my god, they're so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's all because of Anzi that I got into it. I listened to Bang on repeat for so long. It was
I see.
crazy. And then eventually I listened to all the other music. It was, oh my god. I love it. So for me, it's the music is what drew me in.
Mhm.
The music and the character design is what drew me in. Not much for the story, but I didn't read and listen to the story until a little later. But I still really enjoy the story.
Yeah.
I appreciate music a lot. I really like how each group has their own different style. What's most important to me is if I can like groove and dance to it, you know. It's great. I really like it. So like
Go on.
I would just listen to the same song on repeat for like hours. Like when Freak Out was released, I could not sleep at all. It was the only thing that like occupied my brain for like at least the entire day. It was insane.
I can relate to that.
Same.
I think I often do that every CD release, and it's very addicting.
So true.
Yeah, you find that one song and you just blast it for days.
Yes. Oh my god. And then
Yeah.
so first it was Bae, and then I get into Akan Yatsura because I was watching the music video for Bad Boys. I was like, okay, this is pretty good. This is a banger, all right. And then I see Zen's character. I was like, oh my god, his muscles are amazing. Oh my god. He's one of my favorite characters now. I love him a lot.
The allure of muscles.
Harada must be practiced in that because she's actually a BL author most of the time. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Harada is.
Amazing character design, honestly.
For real.
For real.
Thank you. How about your first impression, or how did you like it? How did you find it before?
My first impression, it was when I first listened to the music, I was like, I could like I was obsessed. I could play this in my brain for like forever, and I really appreciate in Bae's lyrics that they use a lot of Korean and English, so it was like easier for me to like sing along. So it was it played a lot more. It took over my life a little, just a little.
I see.
Just a wee bit.
Thank you. That was very interesting. I think someone mentioned about how each group are actually well made, because I think in Paradox Live there are teams for each group that are working behind the scenes. That's why it's actually very, not only here at the outside the fans are just looking at the battles like a competitive scene for the characters, but behind that they are also very competitive team that are doing the songs and everything else, and I guess that's what also makes it good, amazing.
Yeah, from having different artists for all of the different albums which they release, and even from the beginning having different artists to design the characters.
Pretty great.
Okay.
Definitely adds to the overall feel of each one being entirely separate, different, and unique.
That's true.
It's super cool. It really adds to it. I mean, there are artists that can pull off, doing that and making them look more diverse, but it adds a little something extra when each of them have their own separate team. I love it.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
So true. It really lets you appreciate what each component of the project has to offer, with the seiyus and the art and the music and the story. So good.
Yeah.
Also kind of makes me want to buy more merch because each of the covers are differently designed. So
Yes, that's the most suffering part of being a dedicated fan.
like I own the first Akan Yatsura acrylic stands, the one which is of Harada's artwork, but then after seeing the new cover of Akan Yatsura versus PAE, I'm just waiting for them to release the standees so I can buy those as well.
I also
Standees
like
are
the
cool.
idea of how getting two different genre of hip-hop music each battle, so that doesn't really make me get bored at all.
Right.
Time.
Yes.
And not only that, I think
The
each
different themes are
unit-
nice.
Yeah, And I think each unit releases new songs that have elements that are different from their previous songs, which is very interesting. Like you're
And
you cannot expect what kind of songs are gonna come up.
Nope.
and the way that they give the battles kind of a theme rather than just randomly saying that it's a battle, they give them a theme, and to see how each style fits into that theme is like really interesting.
Yes, that's true. Hello, Milk. Welcome. Are you going to share your story? We are willing to listen.
Hello.
Milk has the best story. It's so personal.
Today's been a long day. I'm just gonna listen. Just for now.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Could you
No,
type it
because
in?
if I went on a story, y'all would just be like sitting in the one of the longest, dumbest stories. It's not very long. It's not very
We've
interesting.
all shared our long dumb stories, but you can type yours in if you don't want to talk.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay. Are you sure? All right, I can try.
Yes.
Impression of the project.
Yeah.
So I was
Oh no.
trying to
First,
fit-
I want to know how you discovered Paradox Live.
I was 18 years old. It was November 2019. I was
Wow.
supposed to be taking my graduation exams. I figured it. I discovered the project like 4 days after its initial release, actually. And my friend showed it to me because my friend was really into multimedia projects, while I was very into K-pop. And all they said was, "These guys look like whores. I think you'll be into them." And I was like, "You're right. I am very into them." And then I didn't study for the next 2 weeks of exams as hard. I was gonna say completely, but I did go to tuition, so I did study. But I actually just spent all my time looping that one opening stage track like a man possessed. I don't know how many people have that, but when the opening stage track dropped, I was so delusional. I was like the cozmez leading to Bay, leading to Cat's Whiskers, with the meow 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 master music into Where They At. I just pretended it was a whole song. And I was like, this is so cool. I don't even have to wait. It's just 3 months. Because I was into other projects and they'll make you wait 6 months. And I was like, oh, it's so soon. But no one was translating. So I just thought, wow, what a cool project. What cool designs. I love you, Harada. And then I just didn't study for my exam. I didn't study for my exam. I dedicated all my free time into researching. I think one of the biggest pulls for me in particular was that I saw, and this isn't even in any of my biases, Soiseki Yori was voiced by Phoenix Wright. And it was the most interesting cast voice for me. I personally thought like, wow, Ace Attorney, he's a lawyer, he's a gangster. And yeah, that was I thought the CV cast was amazing. My friends were really interested. I just wanted to keep them up to it. But in the end, I was one of the only people who remained. I just decided to seek people out. And to this day, it's not even a first impression, so I'm like very sorry for rambling. But my impression on this project is still the same. It's very fresh, very new. Even if it tries to stick to something that has already been done before, I feel like it explores it has exceeded everyone's expectations in writing very rich plot lines.
Master.
But yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, Milk. Even though
I'm
you were so
glad Milk
tired.
showed up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh,
I think
so
also
we can't have this podcast without Milk sharing.
And the what? Sorry?
I said we can't have this podcast without Milk sharing.
That's true. That's very true.
I really like that Milk was here since the beginning. That's
Yes.
wild. I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
I think
Yeah, they've been here for all the droughts and the surprises and lack of content.
Oh,
I can't imagine. Oof.
Paradox Life is really interested in
so. Basically, when
Like,
Paralive was
basically when
first announced, they were revealing the unit one by one. I saw Bay, and my first thought was legit. Oh, was
I
it?
mean, all three of them are legendary, so like obviously they're legend.
Then I saw Aki Akane in the list, and I was like, Hey, time to fall deeper into the rabbit hole. The most fun I had with the Korean and JP fans was the waiting period before the opening show. Drum CD was dropped. We all speculated how the characters would act based on their profiles.
Oh yeah.
You were way off.
It's also so
It's hilarious. I have to say, I think I also had the same first impression with Hajun.
It's also really interesting to hear Ayumu speaking in Korean or like singing in Korean.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't sound like he struggled at all. Like what is it that this man can't do? Nothing.
I think they practice a lot. They practice a lot, actually.
I mean, yeah, obviously, but like,
For
yeah.
recording. I think, yeah, in Hajun's case, at the first drama track, I was really surprised that, he's the saddest, supposedly saddest, but then he uses very formal Japanese. And I'm like, oh, this is so weird.
Yeah, Hajun's Japanese is not what I was expecting.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
It works.
but then it kind of makes sense. Because if you learn Japanese formally, you learn formal Japanese first, and only then you'll understand like casual Japanese. And I'm seeing that from personal experience, so it makes sense to me. Yeah.
That's also true, but very formal Japanese you will learn like in a higher level. Or maybe it's because he works as a model.
Yeah.
He had to use them
That's
often.
when you start learning Japanese, it's like you don't learn the casual or formal, so it's like very like in between. But then like you learn both at the same time. Like the type of formal Japanese that Hajun learned is like surprisingly, but at the same time it kind of makes sense to maybe like before he came to Japan or whatever, like taught him the Japanese, thinking that's the best way to get by in Japan.
Yes, that's true. I drew doodles of him being a classist. Sorry, like he is currently one of the first thought I had of him.
I mean, kind of is.
More brute and ill-spoken. Then when OS preview dropped, everyone went, "Oh, he speaks formal Japanese." See, we had the same impression. Then bang dropped and everyone lost their marbles. It was great. TCW's buggy premiere with the typo and the MV's lost views.
Yes, I remember they worked so hard to get it to 1 million, and then the video was deleted and re-uploaded with a corrected typo.
Oh.
Thanks, Rock, for reminding me.
That was sad.
Man, it was such a bummer.
That was sad.
Oh, don't tell me they had a typo of the Whiskers again.
Well,
nah.
I think when they re-uploaded Master of Music, they changed one of Ryu's lyric, and everybody was confused about why they changed it.
I see.
yeah, they've done that.
I know exactly what lyric you're talking about. I know exactly what it is.
Perfect.
It's the lyric where Ryu goes, yada yada, underground Chikatilo. So everyone went, oh, is Ryu a murderer? And they changed the lyric to not be about murder, like to not have the murderer's name in it.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
I see.
Because opening stage was released after all the music videos dropped. The music videos dropped in December, something even I didn't expect. And also full music video. And all of us for months were like, oh, Chikatilo, yes, yes. And then one fine day in, I think, January, all the cat's whiskers got replaced. And we were like, what's going on? And then someone went, the Chikatilo lyric, it's gone!
Although,
That's
even
fantastic.
if the lyrics stayed as is, I would understand because, Ryu has this character of I don't know how to describe him. I'm lost.
Kind of insane.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe him.
Yeah, it's like wild, chaotic.
I think Ryu is the most consistent character. Has the most
Yeah, it's kind of
consistent
really
impression.
impressive that Yeah, it's really impressive that Hanae can rap like that.
Yes.
It's funny. I enjoy it very much. He's just all over the place, and that's just something you can always expect. Something refreshing and constant. His inconsistency.
Yeah, especially with the other three in Cat's Whiskers being so low intensity, because trying to match the vibe of their music, and then there's just Ryu who's like stand out from their group.
Yeah, he'll be up here, then he'll be down there, blah, blah, blah. And it's just so fun. It just adds so much.
Pitch
You just
rise and drop.
immediately get curious to know what he's doing there. Like, how did you get here? Why are you with these guys?
How did you get here?
Honestly, that's why I really like Ryu's parts in the Cat's Whiskers music. It's like it's really fun to whenever you're singing along, you get to like express your range in vocals. It's really nice.
Yeah,
It's really addicting to listen to whenever he has such a good range. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And he
It's
manages
really
to
nice.
display it through Ryu, which is actually good.
Yes, man, it's ridiculously impressive. I love it so much. I didn't realize how much I needed it.
Okay, now that we've reached 1 hour timestamp, not really, 1 hour of talking. So just a last question for everybody. What do you expect from Paradox Live from here on?
Pain.
Very true.
Aya just typed their first impressions on.
Rock posted. Okay.
Yeah.
My first impression of the franchise was like, oh wow, multimedia hip hop music. How multi will the media be though? Is it like oh Koroneko?
Honestly.
Honestly though, that's like me when I started getting it. Because Paradox Live is the first multimedia thing I got into. The second one is but that's for another day.
Good. We can all talk about that another time. Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
I have so many things. Okay.
Okay, go.
Same. Listen, I'm an Aquarius. I like theorizing stuff.
Same.
Liz, do you want to tell about what the question you were asking?
Yeah, about what are you expecting to happen? Or what are you expecting from Paradox Live from here on?
Wait, lore-wise, or what are we talking about here?
I want to know how.
We're not talking about lore, right?
No, not. You can talk about lore or anything else. Like, would you like them
The
to have
series
an
in general.
anime, movie, game, or any other media?
What I
that you
want,
think of?
what I want is anime, but my brain logically says they don't have enough material for an anime yet.
Mhm.
So likely they're gonna either do manga or like a web comic. That's a lot easier to
would be
produce
nice.
right now.
Oh, manga,
That's
we
when
will
anime.
get them in the fan book.
Yeah, like
Hey.
it's since they're really focused on like the digital side for this multimedia franchise. So there's a chance it's gonna be a web comic as well, so everyone could like read it instead of like trying to buy like the physical manga. Again, that's also a lot easier to produce right now, and I just want to have a concise thing of the lore and just the lore without the voices, you know.
Right, that's true.
Or they're gonna do something like
Mhm.
I forgot that other multimedia franchise. It's actually not about hip hop to say, it's about DJing.
Mhm.
But they have webcomics for Young Koma, but it's voiced out by all the voice actors and they upload it on YouTube. So you know what? Forget anime, I want that.
A voice webcomic.
Yeah, voice webcomic, yeah, exactly. That's a really good step to take because then everyone could enjoy the story very easily.
True. And build
It's
spread.
also a lot easier to translate through voice and reading. so the translators, fan translators, or I should say,
Having a
could have, it's a lot easier because some translators translate better if they hear it. Translators translate better when they read it. So if they have the voice webcomic thing, all translators have a much easier time to translate it. Yeah, exactly.
Precisely.
I see that.
Yeah, and then they could definitely give us a little more lore dropping.
Exactly. Like that's a lot easier to like give out lore through voice drama because it depends on audio, and I'm not saying you can't do much of it, but it's not compared to like pictures, you know? It's not, yeah. A picture, I forgot the quote already. It's like a picture tells you how.
1,000 words.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Lo. Thank you. Thank you.
So according to Rob, anyways, I'm still haunted by the fact that I read somewhere how base names are associated to birds, and birds are symbol of freedom. That's why their names are somewhat related to birds, but I cannot for the life of me find a source. Then like how Faulkner is related to some falcons, Sugasano is related to phoenix, and how one of kanji of Hajun's name is related to sparrows. Yes, actually, Hajun's Yeon is sparrow.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, with the phoenix part makes a lot of sense. Look at their colors. They're basically like modern phoenixes as a whole. The group, they.
What was I gonna say? Don't remember. I'm expecting, well, more pain. This story is getting darker and darker, and I am here for it, but I'm also going to suffer.
No.
Always like first in line for everything, for pain, but also like also they have pain, you're there, but then they're also like slice of life content, you're also there, first in line.
Yeah.
For me is if they didn't have any happy ending, at least give us a bittersweet ending.
Exactly.
Because I remember, who is it to say that the winner doesn't mean they will be happy. It's just too depressing, you know.
Yeah.
Although I expect from Paradox Live next new lore after this whole Paradox.
Right.
Live
I hope they keep going after this battle.
mysterious battle. Yeah.
Do you guys think they're gonna add more characters? Out of curiosity.
I would love that so much.
Probably they might add Buraiken in the lineup, maybe.
If
Maybe.
they are still,
We'll see what they do.
you know.
But that's not gonna be easy because again they don't have a lot of funding much. They're doing all they can, obviously. Like again, they don't have like a lot of money to do anything major right now. Aside from like music videos, you know, the song and voice drama. You know what would be cool though?
Okay, let's end this before me becomes no. I'm kidding. But
No, let them in.
yeah, because
I
we
mean,
are
the podcast-
already
At least for
talking
the
about,
recording part.
I mean, we
Yeah.
can still stay
At least for the-
after.
Yeah, we can still.
Yeah.
So I just want to end it. Yeah, so guys, thank you very much for joining me in this podcast, and I
Of
really
Yay, thank you
realized.
for hosting.
Yeah, no, well,
Yeah.
you're welcome, and thank you
But
very much.
Me.
Because I realized a lot of
Yay.
things while listening to your stories, and I just recalling back then that how this project started and how it grew to become a really good, a really engaging project, which is actually very nice. And how fans have the power
Yeah.
to control the plot is just amazing. We have to mention
Oh
yes.
yes.
I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, I forgot that was aspect of it.
Yeah, but yes, it's very. I think it's very powerful to reach out to the fans and make them more engaged in a way that they can do something. They can change something in the plot, hands-on, which is actually pretty good. A really good idea. So kudos
For
to
sure.
Avix and G-Crest. Wow, they're full of genius inside there.
Oh, definitely. Oh, I'm so happy.
So I'm just gonna end this podcast now. We can still stay and then talk about random things, Paradox Live, if you guys still.
Oh yeah,
want
I'm
to.
going to.
No problem. So thank you very much again, and maybe next time if you have like any other topics that you want to do, just tell me, and then we can do it again next time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Whoosh whoosh. I'm gonna stop now.